All right. What's up, crew? What's going on? Welcome. So, got a little bit of a different setup today, doing a whiteboard. Pretty excited. I like this. I've been wanting to do this for quite a while now, but I saw my friend Jackson do it like 10 minutes ago, and I was like, you know what, this looks really good, so I'm just going to go ahead and do it. So, today we're going to be talking about how to get your offer to really stick with people. This is a cool concept, again, that I learned from Steve Larsen and Russell Brunson. I don't know if you can see, but it's also right here. I have that kind of drawn out. So I talked about this before, but I'm going to go into the smaller kind of section of this, more towards the end of like the offer creation, stuff like that. So what we're going to talk about is, I'm just kind of looking over here. So after you figured out the market desire that you're going to be in, right? Health, wealth, or relationships. And then after you picked your red market, right? And then after you picked the three personas that you're going to be serving, well, actually the two out of the three. The people that hate the current vehicle that they're using, the people that are getting little success with the current vehicle that they're using, or the people that are just diehard users of the current vehicle, right? So the first two, right? You want to target those first two, as we talked about in the previous video, which is the diehards, not the diehards, sorry, the little success, right? And the people that hate the current vehicle, right? You want to target those two people. So after we figure all that information out, we get to their false beliefs, right? What false beliefs do they have about this this like new vehicle, this new offer that you're presenting, right? So what I usually do, and what Steve has so gracefully taught me, is we want to make a list, a master list of what all these false beliefs are, right? So if we go over here and right, so we'll make a false beliefs list, and in this section right here, this could be as long as you want. The longer the better, because you want to be gathering all that information, and I'll show you what's going to happen. So I'm just going to copy what I have over here for a current offer that I was building, and then you're going to see what I'm going to do with all this information, right? So we'll just put in, a couple things in here. One of the most common things, like for my offer, is funnel creation, webinar, VSL, all that stuff, is does it cost a lot, right? Does it cost a lot? Another one is like, do I have to be techie? Do I have to be an expert? Right? You have to be an expert, all that stuff. Let's see another one. Is this proven? Right? Is this proven for my business? Right? They might be asking like, oh, does this like work for my business? Right? Like, yeah, it could work for him, but like, is this also proven for mine? Right? Another one is like, oh, like there's too many moving parts, right? Too many moving parts, right? Too many moving parts, right? They might think like, oh, like, there's so many things that are just like moving around. Like, I don't want to have to deal with all that. I'm gonna have to hire a team, right? That would be another one. Hire a team to manage. Sorry for my handwriting. I'm just writing pretty quick. But another one would be like, they have to spend, a lot on ads, or they can do it cheaper, right? They can get someone else to do it cheaper. Right? A lot of money on ads. What else? Oh, another one is like, it didn't work for me last time, right? Didn't work for me last time. That's a big one. I've had a few of those, right? So now what you're gonna do, really, really important part, is after you have like your huge list of things, no idea is a bad idea, right? So whatever you come up with, just put it down on there. After you come up with your big list of false beliefs, mine's like double the size, by the way. I don't know if you can see it, but it's like right there. You want to categorize each one of these into three parts, right? Your vehicle false belief, your internal false belief, and your external false belief, right? So the vehicle false belief is like, what false beliefs do they have about this vehicle? Like, Do they have doubts about it? Do they have doubts that it could work for them, right? So if we were to say, is it techie? That would be more of an internal. So is it proven? That would be a vehicle, right? So that's more of a vehicle, internal belief. Too many moving parts, that's also a vehicle. Didn't work for me last time, that would definitely be, that would probably be, it could be a vehicle. Actually, no. This could definitely be an internal. Actually, this one's tricky because this one could be an external. Now the difference between all of them, again, vehicle is like doubts about the actual vehicle working. Internal is like an internal belief that they have, and external is like resources based. So like they didn't have the money, they didn't have the team, they didn't have the right like funnel builder or whatever it may be. That could be. I think I'm going to leave that for last because that could be a few of them. Having money, spending money on ads, that would be an external. That's a resource, right? Hire a team to manage. I believe I put, that would be an external as well. Techie and expert, that would probably be an internal. Did I put that? Just making sure. That's an internal. And then does it cost a lot? That could be an internal. That could also be an external. I think, that's an external. Because they would say like, oh, this costs a lot. I don't have the resources for that X, Y, and Z. So it didn't work last time. Let's put that as a vehicle for now. We're bound to change it maybe later. So what we're going to do here is obviously we're going to circle the most important ones, right? These are the most common things that we've seen in this market, in this industry. Again, you got to know your industry, you got to know your market for this. So let's go ahead and pick, you're going to circle one for each, right? So we're going to pick this one, the techie expert one, because everyone's like, oh, like I don't know how to do this. That's pretty key. For a vehicle is, we could say didn't work last time. That would be a good one. And then for an external is that we could say, it really depends. Costs a lot, it does, but like you also make your money back, right? Hiring a team to manage, you don't need like a full-on team. Like you could use a VA and like a media buyer and stuff like that. A lot of money on ads. That's also another one. I guess you could say, the money part. That would be a pretty interesting false belief. But anyway, so you have your false beliefs, right? And then right here, you want to kind of just mark it down. This is your internal, this is your external, this is your vehicle. Okay. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to talk about the old. Now this is where I wanted to get into. We're going to be talking about the old stories that these guys would come up with inside of their head about all of these, right? So let me give you an example. So old stories. Let's start with the vehicle. Okay. So this one that we have is it didn't work last time, right? So I hired this marketer. I paid him $4,000 to build this funnel, and he took a lot of time. Right? He asked me way too many questions, and so some of the things like just didn't really add up. The conversion rates were really low. They were like, I don't know, 10% or something like that. It was like about 10-15%. And we were spending a lot of money on ads, and it just wasn't converting. People weren't, it just wasn't really the quality amount of leads and stuff like that, right? So for the vehicle, we could say like, charged a lot for low quality of work. So charge a lot for bad work. And then what would that bad work mean? Low conversions. Right, low conversions could mean so many different things. Obviously, we'd have to tap into the funnel, take a look at their copy, headline, hook, story, offer, all that stuff. So we have the vehicle, then we get to the internal, right? The internal is, yeah. So basically, you know, I paid this marketer, he, you know, to give me this funnel, right? And then he just kind of set me on my ways. Right, and I didn't really know how to use it. There was so many like moving parts to it. Like I had to, you know, set up the domain, had to go back and forth with Google and stuff like that, get that domain working, get that email doing, you know, the SMTP files, stuff like that. Way too many moving parts. I just didn't want to have to deal with it, and so I'm just going to stick to my normal organic method, right? That's a total turnoff for people, right? So, you know, they were jumping back and forth from different softwares trying to figure out how to connect everything, right? So, jumping back and forth, connecting everything on their own, right? Okay, right? They don't want to have to do that, okay? Because it's just too mentally draining. Business owners don't have time for that, right? So then the last one is external, okay? Too much money on ads, right? Oh, like, you know, yeah, we finally got the funnel running and stuff like that, but, you know, we're spending too much money on ads, right? Leads are costing way too much. You know, we're driving traffic from all different sources. You know, we're using YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat for all I know. You know, Google, right? Too much money on ads. And for me, I mean, I can already tell what the reason for that is because they don't have a structured value ladder where the first offer, you know, small offer would pay off all the ads and then, you know, the rest is profit. But they're spending too much money on ads to get quality leads, right? They probably aren't even getting quality leads, right? So spent too much money trying to get quality leads, but failed, right? Now this could go back to like a copy issue, right? Or targeting these three false beliefs incorrectly, right? Because they're not planning it out like this, right? So, okay, so this is where it gets very, very important, right? So you have your old stories right here. And this is where the game changer is. Let me just write it down. Now you have your news stories, okay? Now we talked about, you know, storytelling yesterday a little bit, but I also just read a lot more about storytelling and like how they do it in Star Wars and like, you know, the Disney movie Cars and stuff like that. What's very important that you understand between the old story and the new story. Now keep in mind, I don't know how this camera looks right now, so I could be like really up close or I could be very far, I don't know. What we're gonna do here is we're gonna bridge the two stories together. Okay? This is the game changer right here. Right? Because this bridge is basically helping you knock out those false beliefs and connect them together to show to the customer that like it's okay. Right? Like I understand where you're coming from. Right? So let's go into the vehicle news story, right? So let's go back. It didn't work for me last time, right? So what's like a story that you had, like some experience that you had, right? For example, it might be, Let me just check, make sure my battery is doing good. Okay. So, what's something like a news story for this vehicle, right? It didn't work for me last time. So we could say something like, connect something that happened to you in terms of this. At first, funnels for me weren't working, right? But it's because I didn't have the structure that I'm actually currently working with, right? And it's because I hopped into building a funnel right away, rather building a sales message and the offer first. Okay, so we could say like, built the funnel out first instead of the offer and the sales message. Built the funnel out. Built the funnel out first instead of offer, sales message. Because a lot of people fall into this trap, and that's what I fell into, right? They built out the funnel first, they hopped right into it, and they built the offer and sales message as they went. That's like what I did, right? And that's what really just killed that, right? That's why it didn't work for me, right? That's why my funnels never converted, because that's the path that I took, right? Now, an internal one, an internal false belief, right? It's techie, you need an expert, you need someone to like manage it and stuff like that. Too much stuff, right? So, jumping back and forth, connecting everything on their own time, right? So, I mean, me personally, I have no problem doing that, right? But when I'm on a time crunch, I usually have like a checklist. Like for me, it's like I put everything down, right? I have a checklist of what I have to do. So what I would do is like I would hire a VA that would take care of all that stuff, right? So, connecting the SMTPs, connecting the domains, Stripe accounts, what else? Getting the actual funnel up and running, running through the checklist and stuff like that, traffic sources. So I'd have like a checklist that I need for someone to do it if I'm running out of time, right? So what would be like a news story? I used to do all the manual work until I put it into this system that basically like you flip on and it almost like runs itself. You know what I mean? So I used to be a victim of that, right? Techie. But now I just reach out to people who have done it best and I just, do what they're doing. You know what I mean? So we could say something like, have a VA, which is, for those of you who don't know, a virtual assistant. I'm just going to put VA in the room. Virtual assistant, run through checklist. Virtual assistant run through checklist and troubleshoot whenever possible, or whenever needed. When needed, right? So I'm gonna have a VA, someone overseas, don't have to pay a top dollar for it, right? And then they're just gonna troubleshoot it when needed, right? The business owner doesn't need to, right? They don't have to pay attention to that, right? They can pay attention to like the little things like the number, like the weekly updates and stuff like that, but they don't have to pay attention to troubleshooting and making sure that everything is running smoothly, right? So then the external is they gotta spend a lot of money on ads, okay? That's fine, right? Actually, that's not fine, but spend too much money trying to get quality leads, but they filled. And the reason I found out for that was, number one, obviously they're not targeting these three, right? The vehicle, internal, and external false beliefs, right? But they also don't have a structured value ladder, from what I've seen, right? Like on your value ladder, You have, this one could be something free, okay? So, really depends on what your offer is, right? Free, and then you have something for cheap, maybe it could be like $7, right? And then you have something up here for like $97 or like $47. And then up here, this could be like $497 or like, you know, $2,000, right? They don't have a structured value ladder that pays off their ads, right? And then they return 100% profit on the next steps, right? So that's the biggest thing that I've seen, right? Is they don't pay attention to this value ladder concept. And so that's why they're spending so much money on ads, right? Because they can't get quality leads, right? When you give out like a lead magnet, for example, you're collecting leads for that, right? And so you can even just send them emails and you don't have to spend money on ads through there, right? The people that are buying, putting their credit card down for you, are validating your offer, right? But anyway, that's like another avenue. They don't have, okay, so let's go back. So they don't have a structured value ladder that pays off, you know, their ad spend. Need a structured value ladder to, I don't want to say like pay off, right? But I want to say something like to, I guess, support their ad spend or something like that. Support ad spend. Okay. So what did we do here? Let's do a quick recap. First, we figured out their false beliefs, okay? And then we basically grouped them into the vehicles, externals, and internal false beliefs, right? And we circled out which are the main ones, okay? Obviously, you gotta know your market for this, right? And so then we figured out their old stories that they're saying for each of their false beliefs, right? And this is because we wanna make it understood to them that we're getting inside of their head and we know what problems they're facing. And the reason why we are doing this, guys, and if you're staying here until, if you're here until like this point, this is going to be a huge game changer. I mean, this is what it was for me, right? I'm going to write it out and then I'm going to explain it. So, okay, boom. Lead with the problem, not the solution, right? So as we're building this, we're figuring out their problem. We're not putting together a solution because no one cares that you have a solution for them, okay? No one cares that like you have this like, you know, 15-step process that like will solve any problem, make them the most like richest person in the world. They don't care about that. They care that you understand where they are coming from and make it understood to them, that you understand them, right? So if you can make it known to them that you know where they're coming from, which is their problem, then you can give them a solution and they'll be open to it, right? So that's why we're building this, guys, right? So once we have those old stories, we're bridging it with the new story, right? Something that I've experienced in my time and I have a solution for it, right? Leading with the problem and then putting a solution to it, right, guys? So there's so much more to this. I'm just looking at this right now. And we're gonna come up with like the headlines and like, you know, like the Xavier format of building like your offer and stuff like that, but that's for like another video. So guys, that's basically it. That is how to get your offer to stick with people because you're leading with the problem, not the solution, right? That's what so many people don't understand, right? And that's like the biggest differentiating factor because everyone's like, oh, like I got this like, you know, like 10-step like framework. I got this like awesome webinar. I got this awesome training and stuff like that. But like, do you know my problem first? Like, do you know what I'm trying to solve? You know, like, that's why so many people don't have a competitive edge, right? This is what's going to take you there, right? This is the framework for it, right, guys? So that's all I have for today, guys. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate your time. If you found this to be helpful, which I know you did, go ahead, share it, right? I want to help as many people as possible. I want people to understand this. Steve Larsen, Russell Brunson, thank you guys for this information. You guys have changed so many lives. You're changing my offer as well, you know, which is awesome, right? So thank you guys so much, and I hope to see you in the next video.